So Rollins avoids a blunt force trauma and he leaps to the top for a superplex. And then after he slides under, hits a buckle bomb, he goes for a springboard swanton, tweaking the knee, and follows up with a cabrata where he comes down, landing on the right knee that gives out, and he goes down into the corner as the referee starts checking on him. And LA Knight is told to back off. They've got the camera on Rollins. And then after a minute or so, he finally gets up from the trainers and Knight walks over, BFT, and pins him instantly. 11 minutes and 41 seconds. And you saw the footage afterwards. Rollins is being helped out. He's looking upset. And by the end of this, Cole and Wade just treat it like he's hurt and we're moving on. And so what did you think about this way?
Okay, so we were doing the all-in review. We saw people like chatting about it online. So, and then like also that some suspicion that it might have been an angle to protect the cash-in, and then hearing Sean Ross Sapp reporting that what his sources were telling him was that it was a legitimate thing. I guess I went in thinking, okay, it must be legitimate. Then I heard from other sources that it might not have been.
Okay, so here is what I have been told, and I will just share what I was told. Like I was told 2 days before this to look out for an injury angle with Seth Rollins that would it was even described to me. It would be an injury angle that gets him on crutches going into SummerSlam, something to that effect. So I was told this on 2 days before the match happens. So the only possibilities here, if I had been told this the day after this had played and someone is telling me this isn't real, it's like I might be getting, I would certainly need more information than that. The fact is I was told this in advance. So this person is not psychic. They are not Nostradamus. There are only two options here, is that this was a work or that they were planning a work and he really did get hurt. And I don't think that's the case either. So I'm very confident that this is a storyline and this is going to play itself out. And this part is just me speculating here, is that for Seth Rollins, his is probably the most celebrated cash-in that WWE promotes with the big heist of the century. Like, he can't just do a normal cash-in. They have to do something that is going to shock people. And certainly this is a way. And believe me, I have heard they are going to go to great lengths on this one. But anyway,
they're going to go to great lengths to convince people that
I think they're going to try very hard to make everyone believe he's out.
Meaning not telling other professional wrestlers or people who work in the company.
I can't speak for what they're telling other people or how many people know. I'm just conveying what I was told by a very, very good source that right. It's not even a case of trust or not trust. This happened as it was described to me 48 hours before the angle was executed. This is not a case of, well, maybe this will happen, maybe this won't, we'll see. It happened. It happened as it was described to me.
So you told me this, before I actually went to watch it. And what stood out to me upon watching it,
so you are watching it with the eyes of being suspicious.
Yes. And even before getting to maybe how I felt about the spot, Cole deliberately mentioning, we've heard about Seth Rollins' knee issues as of this Monday. He made constant reference to that in the spot, right after the spot. Mm-hmm. So to me, I immediately thought angle, because it was something that was directly playing into the storyline. I think for me, it's really hard to definitively say about these sort of things, but I do think there's something we can gain from seeing how they focus on the injury and how they whether emphasize it or maybe de-emphasize it. And I really felt in watching this that we were supposed to completely know that this was that this was happening, right? I also think for me, it was really interesting to like study the acting involved, because this is when you're getting into like real acting and not just professional wrestling selling. You are now in the Seth Rollins trying to convince everybody that you are actually injured. Now, this is again like supposing this is all, you know, a performance. If you're actively having to, you know, really sell now, not just to convince like, you know, us in a professional wrestling context, but in a real world context that you are hurt. And that would have to extend to everybody else, you know, ringside as well, certainly LA Knight. And I just, again, I'm kind of colored by like what you told me, but I also, in watching it, I did really just feel like it was performance. And like something like this is really difficult to pull off convincingly, you know. And I think it would
I think he did like a really good job if that was the intent. Like I think most people came away from this looking at it as legitimate.
I think the Sean Ross Sapp tweet probably did more of the convincing than I personally think the actual angle did. But I mean that was only maybe my own experience of it. I think it's incredibly ambitious, and I think it's incredibly risky trying to fool the other people in the back that this is real when it might not be. So I'm very curious to see how it plays out. I'm curious to see what lengths they might go. Again, this is all assuming that it is performance, and anything's possible. That second, you know, scenario you lined out, the fact that maybe they did intend for this to be a work, but somehow he actually got injured. That is also a very valid possibility as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if anyone wants to question me, like that's perfectly fine. But the question I would have that I can't answer is then how was I told this on Thursday? Like this is someone that would absolutely have knowledge of this, and like what they just made the ultimate guess that just turned out to be a guy that got hurt on Saturday. I just. Like I can't explain that one other than that's my.
And they would have every reason to do this, wouldn't they? Like just to make us not think about the cash in. We'll see how they follow up with it, because it is interesting. Let's presume that this is like they're going to play this as if it's legitimate. Does the cash?
There's a great story here. Like I think everyone expects it's Gunther and CM Punk at SummerSlam, and that's a great opportunity to do something like this. Like if I was doing this, it would be, and I have not been told like this is the plan. This is just me purely guessing. Would be Punk wins the title and CM Punk steals it from him, and it's the
Rollins does.
Sorry, Rollins steals the title from Punk, and
sure.
And it's all a ruse. Is this whole deal?
Yeah, I'm just curious what lengths they will go to really try to convince us again, if this is performance, that this thing isn't happening. It's certainly maybe a bit more interesting, just thinking about it that way, than just, you know, this angle would have been on its own.
Listen, if he ends up going for surgery and this is all, I'll own that L. I absolutely will. But as I stand here today, I feel confident in this one. But
so John will often like hear about these sort of things, and he won't mention it on air, like even like after the fact. Like this was a scenario where, like, this is all to say, like, he's incredibly confident about this one. So anyway.
At the press conference afterwards, Triple H did address the Seth Rollins injury. So this is from Fightful. He was asked about the injury. He said, "It's a little bit inconclusive. It doesn't look good. We're in Birmingham tomorrow. He came here tonight. He was not going to miss his wife's performance tonight. He was here, and he'll be in Birmingham tomorrow with Dr. Jeffrey Dugas. We'll get an MRI, hope for the best, and see where we can go with that." That is Paul Levesque.
Interesting. Yeah, I love it. I'm very fascinated to see.
Are you doubting
how
me,
this
Way?
plays out. I'm not. But I want to know what those likes are. You know, because like I think we are going to get those MRI photos. I think like I don't know, and I just don't know. I know enough to say I don't know. Okay, how about that? But like I at least like have my sort of radar to detect a lot more strongly than I would typically for something like this.
Well, I'll probably be on an island by myself, but we will see where this all goes. It's G1 Climax season, and that means the Post Wrestling Cafe has you covered with podcasts covering every single tournament match. Plus, we've got Rewind Away going back to 2005 to review Vengeance featuring Triple H versus Batista in a Hell in a Cell match. John and Way are going to be reviewing F1 the movie starring Brad Pitt, and of course, XL editions of Rewind to Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown. Ad-free with the news of the week and your feedback. Sign up now at postwrestlingcafe.com.